For years, we've welcomed Amy Roloff into our homes. We've seen her triumphs, her challenges, her journey from the farm to a new life with Marek. On the surface, it's a picture of happiness, a second chance at love, new adventures on the horizon, and the joy of a growing family of grandchildren. It's the storybook ending fans have always wanted for the matriarch of the Roloff family. But what if that's not the whole story? What if behind the curated posts and the cheerful smiles, a different reality is unfolding? A reality of intense pressure, unspoken anxieties, and a financial future that might be far less secure than we've been led to believe. Recently, a series of subtle clues, quiet whispers, and overlooked comments have started to paint a very different picture. And it all leads back to one heartbreaking question that fans are starting to ask in hushed tones. Are Amy and Chris secretly struggling under a mountain of pressure that nobody sees? This isn't about divorce rumors or family squabbles. This goes deeper. This is about the fundamental stability of the life they've built together. Before we peel back the layers of this complicated and developing story and examine the evidence piece by piece, do us a huge favor. If you're a dedicated LPBW fan and you want to stay on top of all the theories, deep dives, and exclusive analysis, hit that like button right now. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to LPBW Update and ring that notification bell. You are not going to want to miss a single moment of what we've uncovered. Every major investigation begins with a single breadcrumb, a crack in the facade. For this story, that crack appeared in the most unassuming of places, one of Amy's social media interactions. A few weeks ago, during an Instagram live session where Amy was cooking her famous chili, a fan made a lighthearted comment, something to the effect of, "Amy, you and Chris should take another one of your amazing motorcycle trips. Maybe ride all the way to Florida." It was an innocent, supportive comment. Amy's response, however, was different. Instead of her usual bubbly enthusiasm, she gave a hesitant laugh and said something that, at the time, seemed like a throwaway line. She said, "Oh, wow, that's a big trip. With the price of everything these days, gas, hotels, you really have to plan for things like that. It all adds up so fast." On its own, this comment means nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a relatable sentiment. We're all feeling the pinch of inflation, but within the larger context of the Roloff world, it was the first clue. This wasn't the carefree, adventurous Amy we're used to. This was a more guarded, financially conscious Amy. And for longtime viewers, it was a subtle but noticeable shift in tone. This single comment might have been forgotten had it not been for what followed. Online fan forums, the digital town squares where the most dedicated LPBW viewers dissect every frame of the show, began to connect this comment to other, seemingly unrelated observations. Fan 1. Did anyone else think Amy seemed a little stressed in that live, not her usual self? Fan 2. She's been talking about budgeting a lot more in her cooking videos lately. It used to be all about the fun of cooking. Now it feels like there's an undercurrent of saving money. Fan 3. Remember when Chris said in that cameo he was working on a big project around the house himself instead of hiring someone? Maybe they're cutting back. Individually, these are just fan observations. But taken together, they form the beginning of a theory that the carefree financial lifestyle we associate with reality TV stars might not be the full reality for Amy and Chris. The question became, why? Why the sudden emphasis on budgeting? Why the cautious tone? Is this just responsible financial planning or a sign of a much bigger hidden problem? To understand the full picture, we have to look beyond Amy and turn our attention to her husband, Marek. When Chris first entered the LPBW universe, he was a breath of fresh air, a successful, independent real estate agent. He was stable, calm, and seemed utterly unfazed by the Roloff family drama and the glare of the reality TV cameras. He was Amy's rock. But in recent seasons and social media appearances, some viewers have pointed to a change in Chris as well. The easygoing, perpetually relaxed demeanor seems strained. Let's analyze this. We all know Chris retired from his full-time real estate career. It was a major plot point. He was ready to embrace a new chapter of life, one filled with travel, hobbies, and time with Amy. It was supposed to be his golden age of relaxation, yet, what have we seen? Chris is constantly busy. He's taking on massive home renovation projects. He's often seen in the background of Amy's videos, working on the house, fixing the deck, and landscaping the yard. These are not small weekend hobbies. These are significant labor-intensive projects. The popular narrative is that Chris is simply a hands-on guy who enjoys staying busy, and that may be true, but the alternate theory, the one gaining traction among viewer circles, suggests a different motive. Necessity. Chris said, on screen, "Yeah, this is a bigger job than I thought, but you get a quote from a contractor and it's astronomical. I figure I can do it myself and save us a ton of money." Listen to those words again. Save us a ton of money. On the surface, it's a practical statement, but could it be more? Is Chris, a man who was financially successful enough to retire early, now feeling the pressure to perform manual labor to avoid costs? Is the dream of a relaxed retirement being replaced by the reality of unexpected financial burdens? Think about the timeline. Chris sold his home to move in with Amy. They bought their new house together. This was a huge financial commitment. Then we factor in the ongoing costs of maintaining a large home, property taxes, and the lifestyle they've become accustomed to. Add to that the fact that Chris is no longer earning his high-powered real estate salary. His income stream has fundamentally changed. The theory suggests that the financial reality of their new life together might be far more challenging than either of them anticipated. Chris's constant projects may not just be a hobby, they could be a strategic, non-negotiable part of their financial survival plan. He isn't just saving money for fun. He's saving money because he has to. This puts an immense unspoken pressure on a man who was supposed to be enjoying his retirement. To truly grasp the potential financial pressures facing Amy and Chris, we have to revisit the single most seismic event in LPBW history, the sale of Roloff Farms. For decades, Roloff Farms wasn't just a home for Amy, it was a business. Pumpkin season was a significant source of income. Her identity and a large part of her net worth were tied up in that land. When Amy sold her half of the farm, the narrative was one of liberation. She received a significant payout, hundreds of thousands of dollars, which she used to buy her new home and start her new life. On paper, it looks like a clean, profitable transaction, but was it? Let's dig deeper. First, there's the emotional toll. Amy fought for years to keep her piece of the farm. The decision to sell was agonizing. Financial experts and psychologists will tell you that major life decisions made under emotional duress can often lead to unforeseen consequences. Did Amy, in her desire to move on and escape the conflict with Matt, sell for less than she could have gotten on the open market? Matt Roloff paid her, according to public records, just over $975,000 for her portion. It sounds like a massive amount of money. But consider what that land, with its established business and television fame, could be worth to an outside developer. Some real estate analysts have speculated that the true market value could have been significantly higher. Now let's follow the money. That payout, after capital gains taxes, would be significantly reduced. That remaining sum was then poured into her new home with Chris. It wasn't just extra money. It was her nest egg, immediately reinvested into a new non-income generating asset. Here's the core of the theory. Amy effectively traded an asset that produced a yearly income, the farm business, for an asset that only costs money, a personal residence. She lost a major pillar of her financial independence. Her income now relies primarily on her TLC salary, her social media promotions, her cookbooks, and her celebrity appearances. While that income is substantial, it's also less stable. Reality TV shows can be canceled. Social media influence can wane. Is it possible that Amy is now experiencing a form of financial remorse? A realization that the security she thought she had from the farm sale is not as solid as she believed. This creates a ripple effect. If Amy is feeling financially insecure, that pressure invariably transfers to her marriage and to Chris. It could explain the budgeting, the cautious comments, and the sense that they are carefully watching every dollar. The farm sale wasn't just the closing of a chapter, it may have been the beginning of a whole new set of secret financial anxieties. This brings us to the most sensitive and perhaps most significant piece of this puzzle. The one element that can destabilize even the most carefully planned financial future: health. Let's be clear, we are not reporting on any specific diagnosis. We are not doctors. We are analyzing this from a purely logistical and financial perspective, based on the known realities of the Roloff family. Amy lives with achondroplasia, a form of dwarfism. Throughout the show, she has been remarkably open about the physical challenges this presents. As people age, pre-existing conditions can often lead to more frequent doctor's visits, require more maintenance, and sometimes lead to unexpected surgeries or treatments. These are simply facts of life. The American healthcare system is notoriously expensive, even with excellent insurance. Out-of-pocket costs for specialized care, ongoing physical therapy, or adaptive equipment can be astronomical. Fans have long speculated about the long-term physical toll that decades of hard work on the farm have taken on Amy's body. Is it possible that as she enters her 60s, she is facing a new wave of health-related expenses that were not part of her original financial plan, a need for more frequent specialist visits, potential joint issues that might require costly procedures down the line? We are not suggesting Amy is unwell. In fact, she appears vibrant and active. But the proactive management of a lifelong condition costs money, and those costs typically only increase with age. Now, let's consider Chris. He has always been portrayed as the picture of health, an active man who loves skiing and riding his motorcycle, but he is also in his 60s. The reality for anyone in that age bracket is that health becomes a more prominent concern. A routine checkup can reveal something unexpected. A minor injury can become a major issue. The theory here is not that one of them is secretly battling a terrible illness. It's far more subtle and, in many ways, more relatable. The theory is that the normal age-related increase in healthcare costs and maintenance has collided with their new financial reality, a reality where Chris is retired and Amy's income is less diversified than it once was. A new need for Chris, a series of physical therapy sessions for Amy. These are the kinds of mundane, real-life expenses that can suddenly add tens of thousands of dollars to a yearly budget. For a couple on a more fixed income, that can be the difference between a comfortable retirement and one filled with financial anxiety. It could be the silent, invisible pressure that explains everything else we've been observing. Now, after laying out all of this evidence, it is crucial that we do what responsible analysts do. We must consider the other side. Is it possible that this entire theory of financial strain, hidden pressures, and secret anxieties is completely wrong? Absolutely. Let's look at the evidence for a happy, stable, and financially secure Amy and Chris. First, their lifestyle. They take wonderful vacations. We've seen them on cruises, on motorcycle trips, and visiting family. These are not the actions of a couple on the brink of financial collapse. Second, their home. They live in a beautiful, well-appointed house in a lovely neighborhood. They are clearly proud of it and enjoy hosting friends and family. This is not a sign of struggle. Third, Amy's own words. For every comment about budgeting, there are 10 posts about her joyful life, her love for Chris, and her excitement for the future. Her business ventures, from her cookbook to her online presence, appear to be thriving. So, what's the alternative explanation for everything we've discussed? It's simple: prudence. Maybe Amy's comment about the cost of a trip wasn't a cry for help, but simply the wisdom of a woman who has worked hard for her money and understands its value. Maybe Chris's endless house projects aren't born of necessity, but of genuine passion. Perhaps retirement from real estate gave him the time to finally embrace his love for craftsmanship. His comments about saving money might just be the practical satisfaction of a job well done, something many homeowners can relate to. And maybe the financial discussions surrounding the farm sale are just that, discussions. Amy made a decision, got her money, and has invested it wisely in a home she loves. Perhaps she has zero regrets and is perfectly content with her financial situation. In this version of reality, there is no secret crisis. There is only a mature, responsible couple navigating their 60s with intelligence and foresight. They are budgeting not because they are poor, but because they are smart. They are being careful with their health, not because of a crisis, but because they want to enjoy a long, active life together. Two realities, one truth. So we are left with two competing narratives. Narrative A: Amy and Chris are under a secret, immense pressure. A combination of a less secure income stream after the farm sale, the financial realities of retirement, and the rising unspoken costs of age-related healthcare have put them in a precarious position. Their smiles hide a deep-seated anxiety about the future. Narrative B: Amy and Chris are thriving. They are happy, financially secure, and simply being smart, prudent adults. The clues we see are nothing more than the normal actions of a responsible couple, and fans are reading way too much into offhand comments in everyday life. Which narrative is the truth? The honest answer is, we don't know for sure. The Roloffs are famously private about the specific details of their finances. But the evidence, when laid out, presents a compelling case that there is more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. The subtle shifts in tone, the constant focus on cost saving, and the immense pressure on Chris to perform labor in his retirement, these are not things we can simply ignore. They suggest that at the very least, Amy and Chris's new life together has come with a set of challenges that the show may not be willing to explore. What do you think? Have you noticed these subtle clues? Do you believe this is a sign of a hidden struggle, or are fans creating drama out of nothing? Is there a piece of evidence we missed? Let us know your comprehensive theory in the comments section below. We read every single one. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you found this analysis compelling, please give this video a like and make sure you are subscribed to LPBW Update for more content that goes beyond the surface. We'll see you in the next investigation.